ओम ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति
ओम ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति
मूर्ति भेद विभागिने
मूर्ति भेद विभागिने
व्योमवद्व्याप्त देहाय
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहना भवतु।
सहना भवतु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं
व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्।
व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्।
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्।
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणी भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनी।
अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवत्वेषिणीम्।
अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवत्वेषिणी।
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः।
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः।
वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः।
वेदैस्ताङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः।
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः।
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः।
यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः
गणाः
देवाय तस्मै
देवाय
नमः।
तस्मै नमः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदुच्यते दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते. Last Sunday we have started the traits of Sthita Prajnaha, and we have seen up to 55, 56 and 57 verse only. Bhagavan has discussed traits of Sthita Prajna, and rest of all verses are how we can become a Sthita Prajna. That discipline is given by Bhagavan. First, 1 minute. In 55th verse, we have seen first trait of Sthita Prajna is one who has no desire, binding desire in one's mind. It's called Kama Tyagaha. What is the traits of Sthita Prajna? First one is Kama Tyagaha, one who has not any type of desire, and specifically we can say it is a binding desire. And second thing we have seen, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha, one who is satisfied, one who is always happy in oneself, in self, with self only. That's why we have seen the Atmani is in oneself. Mostly we would like also become Atmani tushtaha, but to become tushtaha, we are not happy with Atmana, we are always happy with another, Parena Atmana, but this Sthita Prajna is always happy with oneself. In self is called Sthita Prajnaha, that we have seen, and we are seeing this 56th verse. Let's see what where we have seen. Yet that we have seen. Dukheshu anudvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruhaha vitaraga bhayakrodhaha sthitadihi muniruchyate. Another, this is trait, it's called samatva buddhi. That Sthita Prajna has always mind is balanced, because with reference to pain, adversity, he never be vigat anudvigna, is not affected, and with reference to happiness, he doesn't have any desire to be, is never longing for any type of desire. So dukheshu anudvigna manaha sukheshu vigataspruhaha vitaraga bhayakrodha, we were there, but we have seen dukkham can come, source of dukkham. There are dukkham, the meaning of dukkham is the pain we feel inside. It's called dukkham. But when Bhagavan has written in plural, dukheshu, one who knows Sanskritam, dukheshu is plural, but the pain inside our mind can never be plural. So what is the meaning of plural? Then Shankaracharya has described, because we always say Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Three types of Shanti we always pray from Ishvara, Adhyatmik. So the pain can become from our body, mind sense complex. That's why the source of one pain is from our own body. Another source of pain or adversity comes from surrounding. Except us, surrounding people, situation, thing can be also give some adversity or pain. So that's why also we can have pain from Adi Bhautikam and Adi Devikam, from all natural disasters. From there also we can have Dukkham, but that person never be unhappy, never be distracted, such type of pain. And why? So always I used to say that person knows the body and mind is instruments given to me. I am not body, mind, sense complex. That is 100% no. And another thing, what I have discussed, we always taken our body as a oneself, but that person knows. And I have given one example. In horse riding, there are two things. One is horse, another is a rider of the horse. So body and mind is like a horse are given to us to interact with people, and we are the rider who is using this horse. So Atma Jnani knows I am a rider, I am not horse. Because horse is instrument that we have seen. And Vigata Sukheshu Vigata Spruhaha. He is never longing for any type of sukha. With reference to sukha, and we have seen happiness can come from three parts. One is called external object, external events, and relationship. We always seek happiness from this all five, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. We always seek. We need some party, we need something, to become happy. So it's always there are parties, something, even holidays, and relationship. Through even friendship, always, even husband, wife, father, mother, we always seek happiness. But this type of such person, one who is Atma Jnani, he doesn't have any type of longing, desire from outside. Sukheshu Vigata Spruha. And Shankaracharya is given one sentence. He says, if you put fuel inside the fire, the always fire becomes more and more. But same time, if you give some sukham to Atma Jnani, but he never becomes, he never inspired, he never long for more, because he doesn't have any type of desire with reference to all, even sukha. If we have happiness, we always think this happiness should be always with me. But that person, Sthita Prajna, doesn't desire, because he knows life is mixture of ups and downs. So sometime up come, sometime down will come. That's why he never carried away even by sukha or even by dukkha. Up to this we have seen. Another trait of Atma Jnani is Vitaha. We have seen up to Vitaha means gone, Ragaha, attachment, Bhayaha, fear, and Krodhaha means anger. From one, these three type of trait has gone, is called Sthita Prajna. When Raga comes, is considered always both side of coins. Raga always attached with Dvesha. One who is Raga, at the same time he or she may have Dvesha. But this person, when say Raga, so is Vita Ragaha, Vita Dveshaha. And Vragaha, why we have Raga means attachment? Because we always live in duality. In duality, we always compare ourselves with others, and we think we are compared by others. And when this comparison comes, then always either raga come or dvesha come. But it says, what is the ultimate vision of Atma Jnani? So it says, the ultimate result of Atma Jnani is called in Bhashyam, Ishavasya Upanishad, even in Mundak Upanishad, it's called Sarvatma Bhava. Bhavaha means to see, Atma means consciousness, Sarva, that Jnani knows my consciousness is not limited in only in my body, mind, sense complex, but I am all pervading. And when I say I am all pervading, so whatever are available in this world, in all beings, is nothing but I am only. So when we compare ourselves, one is different from one other, then comparison can possible. But when we say everything is me, we cannot compare with ourselves. That's why comparison is not possible for Atma Jnani, because it's always Sarvatma Bhava. So this is the ultimate, this is the very one we used to say, no? What is the benefit of this thing? Same thing we may ask to, what is the benefit of getting self-knowledge? So this is the result of self-knowledge, is Sarvatma Bhava. We never have any type of negativity to anyone, because I am everything. In Sanskrit, particularly in Brihadaranyaka, there is a very well famous one line is, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Its the meaning is, if we say we love others, but in fact, Yagyavalkya says to Gargi, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. One love oneself, only that sake he loves other. Nobody loves other, always we love ourselves only. So when Atma Jnani knows, I love myself, but I am everything. So he never raga and dvesha. So that person is bereft of raga, likes and dislikes. And one line is also given in Sanskritam, yatra yatra ragaha, tatra tatra bhayaha. Whenever we have ragaha, means like, attachment, at the same proportion, we have fear. Fear of what? If we have too much we love someone, so we have fear. Either he or she may go. The fear. What Arjuna has. So always, bhaya is always, there more ragaha, more bhaya. Less ragaha, less fear. That's why this person doesn't have raga, so he doesn't have bhaya also. One line is given in Taittiriya Upanishad, what I have written, Dvaitat bhayam bhavati. When there is a duality, plurality, then only we are compared and we compare others. Then only we have fear. Dvaitat ut eva antaram kurute tad bhayam bhavati. Also second is given in Taittiriya Upanishad. Even little bit we keep distance from others, then we start fear. We develop fear. That's why always Pujya Swamiji used to say in Gita, why Arjuna becomes so fearful in 11th chapter. He asks, who are you? And they say, you become whatever you are. You may become again, I don't like to say now, more Vishwarupa. Why he becomes so fearful? Because he himself keep distance from Vishwarupa. So even we keep distance from Ishvara, then Ishvara can be source of fear. So Dvaitat Bhayam Bhavati. In Atma Jnani, he knows I am only all over the world. Ahameva ekameva advitiyam. I am only oneself. So with whom I can have fear? That's why Bhaya Rahitaha. Even it says, is given in Shankaracharya's Bhashyam, Indra can have fear with Upasaka. One who is doing lot of tapas, no? Indra can have bhaya. Because always we have seen in Purana, whenever one who is given too much tapas, no, then Indra has fear, he may take my throne. But Indra doesn't have any fear with Atmagyani, because he knows, Atmagyani knows everything is conscious. Indra is also consciousness. So he never longed for Indrasan, throne of Indra. So he doesn't have any type of fear. That's why he doesn't have Vita Abhaya. Even Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate, what I have written, is also given in Taittiriya Upanishad. And here, Pratishtham means he is re-established, he is well established in own Swarupa. That's why Abhayam. And that one's own Swarupa is Abhaya. There is no fear at all. Vita Abhaya. And last, Vita Krodha. Krodha is anger. It says, when our raga is not fulfilled, then what is the another? And it will come in elaborately in same Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. It will come at that time. So I think at that time we will discuss. But the anger is unfulfilled raga is called Krodha. I always used to say Raga has two sons, either Lobha, greed, or anger. When we say greed, means Lobha, when what we desire, we get it. But then we always keep with others. It's called Lobha. And another son of Raga is Krodha. Whatever we desire is not fulfilled, then the son of Raga, another, is called Krodha. And all our others, all negativities are grandsons of Lobha and Krodha. So whole structure comes from Raga. That's why Puja Swamiji used to say, if we don't have Raga, then nothing will come. So from root only we have to cut, then nothing will come. So Krodha we will discuss more in Dhyayato Vishan Punsaha Sangas Teshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate. But Atmagyani doesn't have any type of Krodha because he doesn't have Raga. Because Raga, Krodha is a son of Raga. So no Raga, then no Krodha. That's why this Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Sitadir Muni Ruchyate is written in Munihi, one who has capacity to contemplate. It's called Munihi. Mananat Munihi. And the meaning of Manaha means one who can have contemplating mind. It says, what is the Manana? If we give one word, suppose Ishvara, to one person, and we can ask, do you think Ishvara for 20 minutes in your mind without distracting your mind? Then it's called Mananam. If one person can think any good word, even Akrodaha, then Asangaha, whatever Shabda is given, and we can think over it for length of time without our mind should distract, then it's called Mananam. So this Atmagyani is always contemplating on oneself. That's why it's called Sitadihi Muni Ruchyate. Munihi, one who has this capacity, they say this is Sita Pragya. In one I don't know, but I have seen what is the definition of Muni, one who is strong at both levels, intellectually, at the same time, emotionally. That person is called Muni. We are sometimes intellectually we are strong, but emotionally we always down. But Sthita Pragnaha, even this Muni is both. So really speaking, Sthita Dehi Muni Ruchyate. Okay. Now 57, this is last trait of Jnani, Yassarvatranabhisnehaha tat tat prapya shubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya pragya pratisthita. This also we can say is samatva buddhi, because na dveshti na abhinandati. Yes, sarvatra, but this one trait is anabhisneha. We will see, but sneha is affection. Abhisneha is attachment. So we will see, but one yah sarvatra anabhisneha, one a person sarvatra, everywhere, each and in every situation, anabhisneha, who doesn't have any type of attachment, shubha prapya na abhinandati, at the same time ashubha prapya also na dveshti. Sometime he may get some favorable situation, na abhinandati, he never rejoices. At the same time ashubha, he may get some unfavorable condition, na dveshti, he never hate. Both are welcome for that person. Let's see. Anvaya I have written is yah sarvatra anabhisneha. An should be anabhisneha tat shubham prapyam na abhinandati tat ashubham prapya api na dveshti tasya pragya pratisthita. So the one word is called sneha. The meaning of sneha has two meanings. One is called affection and another is called sticky, ghee, oil, all considered as sneha tattva. Always stick with our hand. So whenever sneha come, even in Gujarati, I think in Tamil also, sometimes it says is very highly sneha, means it is highly sticky. So the meaning of sneha is either affection or sticky. And whenever we say affection is always good, we should have affection for each and every person. Only we can have care for that person. So affection is always good. Any relationship, affection is good. But when this word comes, abhi, prefix, abhisneha, then the meaning is emotionally attachment. Sneha is affection, but abhisneha means attachment, and particularly emotionally. And whenever we are emotionally attached and we think we love that person, then always we would like to keep that person in our control. Like this is possession. I love, that's why you do this. I love this, that's why you have to do. That's why Pujya Swamiji used to say, person says, I love you, you please sit. I love you, come for drive. I love you, you wear this cloth because I love you. But lastly, that person will say, I allow you, you go. That's why it is not love. Really speaking, when abhisneha is attachment, we would like to, and it's not only for person. It says it starts from furniture, house, car, relationship, whatever. And whenever we are over attached with even anything, any situation, then we would like to see that situation as they are. I would like to give one, example. In one house, a family member keeps furniture according to their wish. But in that family, the boys gets married and another person has come, Vadhu has come, and she said, I would like to keep this furniture in different way. It would look like more beautiful. Then other family member says, we don't like what is your rearrangement. You please keep that previous arrangement. From this fighting will start. Because even we, abhisneha, arrangement of that particular arrangement of furniture only. Abhisneha. This is only small example. But then only this fighting will start. Sometime fighting, sometime always they depart, whatever possible. But abhisneha is emotionally attachment. And more attached, we have becomes more emotional. But this person is anabhisneha. Sthita pragnaha is anabhisneha. It is not attached emotionally with anyone, even in relationship, things, situation, always is anabhisneha. Even he is married, he or she is fine. He has no problem. Even he or she is married, any situation is comfortable to that person. Sthita pragna. Janak, the king Janaka, was king of everything, but he doesn't have problem with anything. Sthita pragya. So the wise person, this is the last trait of Jnani, anabhisneha. Emotionally, that person is not attached with anything. Anabhisneha. And being anabhisneha only, shubham prapya na abhinandati. That's why it says, tat shubham prapya na abhinandati. Whenever that person gained favorable condition, but he doesn't rejoice. Whatever comes, it's fine. And at the same time, ashubham prapya na dveshti. If sometime he gets unfavorable condition, but he doesn't hate, he or she doesn't hate, whatever comes are welcome. And why he has such mind? That's why I have given why he is not hating and why he is not rejoicing. We know wise person is called Sthita Pragna. He has three type of karma. Either Sanchit, Prarabdha and Agam. What happened to Jnani? It says, we have seen in our Tattva Bodha, for Jnani, Sanchit is totally gone, burn out. So no Sanchit in his account, in her account. Prarabdham tu iha bhujyatam. Sthita Pragna has experienced all punya and papa given in prarabdha karma. So whatever comes is up to body, mind, sense complex only. No? And that person knows, I am not body, mind, sense complex. That's why he na dveshti na abhinandati. So prarabdha karma, whatever comes, either is a good experience or painful experience, but he or she knows this is regarding to BMS complex, means body, mind, sense complex. It doesn't belongs to me. That's why he never abhisneha. And last one, agami. Whatever that person does, either whatever karma, good or bad karma he never does, but sometimes unknowingly insect may killed because he going. So whatever he does karma, good karma will go to a person who always praise him. And whatever papa one criticize, that papa will Sthita Pragna say papa will go to criticize person and punya will go to worship. That's why in Mundaka is written Atma with Bhutihi Pujayet Archayet. Vibhutihi Pujayet. One who is Atma Gnani, others should worship him. Because whatever punya will come in Atma Gnani's life, he or she is not interested. Then when punya will go, that punya will go to one worship Atma Gnani. And where papa will go of Atma Gnani, someone who criticizes Atma Gnani. And he, na dveshti, na abhinandati, and anabhisneha. So here, all is over. Atma Gnani's trait. What I have said, one is kamatyagaha, second is santushtaha, third one is samatva buddhi, 4, 5 and 6, bhaya, raga, krodha, rahitaha, and seventh one is anabhisneha. Emotionally, totally, he is not attached. So here traits of Atma Jnani is complete. But what is left out? So what should we do? So this Shankaracharya ji has no Purva Pakshi. So he has raised one argument. So if Atma Jnani has no question, he is ready to accept each and everything. So should we consider as a dormant person? Or is a coward, he is not facing any type of situation, he is just simply sitting? So if we accept each and every situation, so it makes us dormant, or it is a sign of coward. So it says, so how should we respond to any condition? Favorable, unfavorable, whatever. So it says, we can respond any situation in three types. First type of any what we come to us, it's called impulsive responses. Immediately we respond. Something had happened, immediately we respond. Another type of response is just meekly we surrender. Submission, whatever you say is okay. I am not interested. Second type of response, and third type of response is called intelligent response. So, being Sthita Prajna, he should not react, he should not respond. So say, Sthita Prajna never responds impulsively. Like mostly, because one who are highly emotional, they immediately reacts. There is one person, he used to say, I am not chemical, so I should react. Mostly all chemicals get reacted, no? So anybody ask, how you react the situation? That is simply that person says, I am not chemical, so I should not react. So mostly all are reactive, impulsive. The second type of response is, they are not interested. Submission, whatever you do is fine, I am not interested. Totally lazy. But third response is called intelligent response. Sthita Prajna, even being Sthita Prajna, he always responds intelligently. If you remember, Pujya Swamiji used to share with us, he said, when I'm in US, so he had one interview in some news channel, and that person asked to Pujya Swamiji, he said to Pujya Swamiji, Gandhiji was replied once a time, if somebody slapped on one cheek, then what will you do? Then Gandhiji said, I will give my second cheek, so he can also slap on me. So he asked same question to Pujya Swamiji, if somebody will slap on your one cheek, then what will you do? Then what Swamiji was replied, you know? Do you know anyone? He replied, my behavior was such that nobody will give even one slap on my cheek. Why should I give my second one? I'm not foolish. It's called the response of intelligence. So how person should respond? He says, there are two types of situation in everybody's life. Even Sthita Prajna, in people like us, there is two types of situation. One situation is called choiceless situation. So this is not in our hand. Suppose some is diagnosed as a carcinoma, we cannot change. So in choiceless situation, what we have to do? So he says nothing, but we have to prepare our mind. So like a prayer, oh Lord, give me the strength which I cannot change. So it's called choiceless situation. Another situation is called choiceful situation. We have many choices. Then what should we can do? So it says there are, you have heard or not, there are 4 types of punishment we can give to the person. One is called samaha, another is called damaha, dandaha, vedaha. So first samaha means to control that person with mind. Damaha means through sense organs we can control that person. Shamadamad, same samadamaha. Then bhedaha means to neglect the person. We stop talking with that person. It's called bhedaha, to keep distance. And last one, dandaha means punishment. This, so first we have tried this, and last one is this. And then what I have written, I have read somewhere, Krishna is the best example for this. Krishna would like to stop the Mahabharata war. So he went to Kauravas, he met Duryodhana, but he was not ready. Then what? He tried to convince Duryodhana also. Then Duryodhana tried to put him to jail. Same way, Krishna also tried to send Kunti for Karna. So if Karna knows what is the real mother and he joins Pandava, then again Duryodhana cannot join the war. That's why he did everything. But when it is not in his Krishna's hand, then he says, let it be war. So last one, Danda has come. Otherwise, we have all had. Even there is one story in Ramayana is given. If you remember or not, I don't know. It's in Ramcharitmanas. I don't mean Vasishtha Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana, sorry. But once Shankar and Parvati both went to listen Ramakatha to Agastya Muni. And he told whole Ramakatha. And again, Shankar, not Parvati, but Sati. When we are coming back, then Shankara has seen Rama was doing that Rama Avtara in earth. And at that time, Sita was lost. Rama was crying and he was asking everyone, have you seen Sita? Have you seen my Sita? And he did pranam. So Shankar Bhagwan did pranam to Rama Bhagwan who was crying at that time. Then Sati asked, to whom you are doing salutation? Who is this person who is keep on crying? Then he says, you don't know, this is same Rama what we have heard from Agastya. This is the same. Now it's going on, all Avtara. Then she says, how can I accept this person as a Bhagwan who is crying? So I'm not ready to accept. Then Shankara is trying to convince her at the best level. He's saying Ishvara, Parameshwara, but she says, I'm not ready to accept this. I would like to do some pariksha. Then this situation is choiceless situation for Shankar Bhagwan. He cannot convince Sati. Then he sat in meditation and he started doing japa. Then Sati went down in earth and she starts thinking, what should I do? That's why Rama, I can understand that Rama is real Lord or not. So what she has done, she becomes a Sita. She converts herself in Sita, and when Rama and Lakshmana are coming, in front of Rama and Lakshmana, he just stands in front of Rama. What she was thinking, if is a fake Rama, then he was very happy and says, I have found my Sita. But if Bhagwan, then let's see what he is doing. When Rama sees Sita, that says, why Sati is doing here? Mother Sati is what she is doing here. So they just left that path. Again, they want opposite side. Their person, again Sita comes. Then Rama starts thinking, I have to do something. Then only, whenever Sati sees, everywhere he sees Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Ram, Sita, Lakshman. And then he just closed his eyes and he sat down. Then Rama comes near and asks Sati, where is Shankara? Where is Lord Shiva? Without Shiva, if you are moving here, somebody may kidnap like Sita also, be careful. Then she starts crying and she goes up. Again, she went to Shankar. Then Shankar says, Sita is like my mother. And you have taken form of Sita, so you are as good as my mother. Then there is no relationship like between you and me. And and then only Sita burnt in that yagna. Everything story is afterward. But for Shankara, it's a choiceless situation. So he's not start crying. But it's something we can do. So in choiceful situation, we have choice, but in choiceless situation, we have to accept. So for Sthita Prajna, there is no problem because he is always unabhisneya. So from this, everything is over. Now the trait sadhakasya Sthita Prajnasya lakshanani sadhakasya sadhanani. What we have seen previous sentence, the lakshana of Sthita Prajna is sadhana for jnani, sadhakas. So I have written, even in Shankaracharya's Bhashyam is written, it says 3 types of sadhana are given now in these verses after 58 verse. And which are those sadhana are given in this verse? So it says, is written is, our self-knowledge should convert in emotional strength. Everybody, now we have also Atma Jnanam at intellectual level. No? We know I am Brahman, we are all pervading. What is given in Upanishada, everything we know, still we are emotionally disturbed. The meaning is that Jnana still is not our mental strength, our emotional strength. So what should we do to convert this self-knowledge into emotional strength? So it says 3 types of disciplines are given in these verses. One is called Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam, we know everything, but the meaning of Nididhyasanam is to dwell upon the teaching. I have written one thing, if person is habitual drunkard, if person is habitual smoker, then that person cannot think his life without drink or without cigarette. And if we have to ask that person, you just give up this drink, means alcohol or cigarette, so simply that person cannot give up. We have to put that person in rehabilitation center. No, there are many centers are available. Same way, because it is very difficult to remove that craving of alcohol, even cigarette. Same way, we have craving for this body, we have craving for our whatever going, our thought process. We have, and this Shastra says, you are not body or you are not mind. So how can we loosen out our total identification with body and mind? So that's why this one type of rehabilitating, to dwell upon our teaching, it is what? So we are receiving our real nature. It's called Nididhyasana. So it says to identify oneself with our body, mind, sense complex is all right. Always we think, we can't, even in sleep also, we cannot think ourselves without body and mind. To remove these things, it needs a long process, in spite of knowing everything. So keep on to telling our mind, to dwelling upon the teaching. It's called Nididhyasana. It is not mere meditation, I really speaking. Even Punaha Shravanam Kuryat is also one type of Nididhyasana. If we keep on listening with total Shraddha, then our total thought process slowly will change. That's why Nididhyasana will come I will tell this is the Nididhyasanam. So first sadhana to self-knowledge convert into emotional strength is called Nididhyasana. For Sthita Pragya, at intellectual level and emotional level, both is one and same. That person knows what my buddhi thinks, same my mind knows. But for us, buddhi knows everything, but mind is always thinks differently. That's why Nididhyasana is very much necessary in our common people mind. So first is Nididhyasana and another is called Indriya Nigraha. And what is Indriya Nigraha? In, I would say, in Tattva Bodha Bhasha, it's called Damaha. Yada Samharte is nothing but Indriya Nigraha only. So I used to say, if we have planted something, some plant, we have planted seed, when sprout comes, so what we do? We always protect that sprout from wind, even from animal, everything. That's why we keep enclosure. Same way, this teaching and what we understand is like a sprout. And there are many attacks from outside. And from where, so I have written Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandha. This all object of sense organs, they always try to entice our sense organs. Our mind says, you are Ekameva Advitiyam, and I says, this is very beautiful, I need this dress, I need this, something good to hear, something nice to touch, something good to smell. Always this is demanding our Indriya, and to keep in our control, it's called Indriya Nigraha. Even Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha, all are nothing, but it's called Damaha Shamaha, all will come. But this Indriya Nigraha particularly is called Damaha. And why we are keeping so much important to Damaha? Because more demand from sense organs, everything will go in mind, and mind become more disturbed. And disturbed mind, knowledge will never stay. That's why we give importance to Indriya Nigraha. At the same time, Mano Nigraha. The meaning of Mano Nigraha is we can keep Indriya in place. They never demand. But what about mind? Always Pujya Swamiji says, first Damaha comes and then Shamaha. Mano Nigra is nothing but Shamaha. What comes in our Tattva Bodha? If we would like, when we are angry, we would like to come something bad words from our mind, we keep in control. It never comes out, but still it's inside our mind. Same way, greed inside our mind, all things inside our mind. How do we regulate them? How to stop negative thinking? This is called Mano Nigraha. Mano Nigraha is not naturally to suppress our mind, but really speaking, the meaning of Mano Nigraha means to regulate our thought process, to channelize our thought process in right direction. And more, if we can do Mano Nigraha, then more our mind will calm. And if our mind will calm, then the knowledge will stay. That's why all three, in Nididhyasanam, Indriya Nigraha, Mano Nigraha. In Kathopanishad, there is a one mantra, is Paranchikhani Vyatrunat Swayambhuhu. Parang Pashyan Na Atman. Paranchi means our all sense organs are always outside. Our eyes is not inside. Our eyes always say external word. Our ear always hear external. We never inside, always is external. And being external, what they will do? They will see also they do here everything external only, no? So giving external sense organ like consciousness has killed oneself only, because this sense organ never think of consciousness. They always looking for external thing only. That's why to keep our sense organ in our control is also one type of challenge. Same way, to keep our mind what we would like to think is also challenge. And in my thinking, the best siddhi, it says, what is the best siddhi in one's life? There are many persons who always like to show siddhi. Suppose one person say, is no Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. One person comes to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and he said, I have siddhi. I would like to show you. Then he says, what you have got siddhi? Then he came, please come with me. Then both went to near Ganges. And then he starts walking on Ganga. Then say, this is my siddhi. I can walk on river. Then Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, only this much siddhi you have. So he says, this is not, I have spent 20 years to get this siddhi. Then immediately this Ramakrishna Paramahansa asks one boatman. And he says, I would like to cross this Ganga. What is the price? Then he says, 2 anna. Then he says, you have spent 20 years for 2 anna. But people is after only such type of siddhi. But what is the big siddhi? According to Gita, one who regulates one's mind properly. In 18th chapter, no? What is that? Very well famous. Swakarmana tvam abhyachya siddhim vindati manava. In that shloka, Shankaracharya has written, the big siddhi is nothing but to control our mind. And how can one control one mind? Swakarmana tam abhyarcha. By one's own karma, when you offered the Ishvara, you will get this siddhi. So all these three is the sadhana for sadhakas. And these all are lakshana. Our Sthita Prajna, now I have to keep Dhamma. He's naturally has Dhamma. Sthita Prajna is naturally Shama, but we have to keep our sense organ and mind in our control. Then now what will come is nothing for what we have to do. Any question regarding this? 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah. Unmute. You please unmute.
Okay. I have a question about raga and sneha. We say we should not have raga, but having sneha is healthy. But raga is also kind of sneha, correct? It's an attachment. That's why we get into raga.
But we have seen, the definition of raga in first chapter of Gita. Ragaha, shokaha, and mohaha, they're 3 traits of samsara. So in there also, ragaha means over-attachment. But sneha is simply affection. He is given here. Sneha. So we have affection for our kids. We have affection for our family members. It's fine. But there should not be overpowered on us.
So it is like abhisneha.
Abhisneha. Ragaha means abhisneha. Over attachment.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Anything?
It was interesting to note, Arjuna was asking, how does the Sthita Prajna look? What does he eat? How does he walk and talk? Bhagavan never answered that question.
But he never even, criticized him. Why are you asking such questions?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Student?
Swamini, I have a question.
Yeah.
In the first verse where Sthita Prajna is someone who is not worried about a negative thing or very happy about a positive thing. Let's say if I have to inculcate that habit by doing more of Nididhyasana. So let's say by God's grace, if I reach that stage or on that path, when I try more and more of it, will I not be seen as an indifferent person or emotionless?
That's why, they are not emotionless. That's why I was told, no? Even Sthita Prajna is not emotionless. He has maximum emotions, but still he doesn't want to show his emotion or her emotion, or because of others' emotion, he is not affected. Only it's called Sthita Prajna. It's not like a robot, Sthita Prajna is not like a robot, But he or she is not affected by others' emotion. But at the same time, he has much compassion to each and every person. Much mentally less disturbed, that person only can help others.
Correct.
He doesn't
So
have
what about the natural reflex that happens when a situation happens? There is a natural reflex in a person. So that can be avoided for a Sthita Prajna, or
which type of reflex? What you told?
let's say I hear some news, some good news, I feel happy about it, or some bad news, I say, oh, very bad. So will Sthita Prajna have that reflex, or?
Yeah, of course. I used to see Puja Swamiji when something, good news comes, he is just very happy. But when he gets bad news, he was not, at the time, he was not that much is in pain. Even when he heard the news of his brother's death, he was little bit, but totally he is not engrossed in pain. He can manage.
Right. Okay.
So we can manage. Sthita Prajna is no problem, but we should manage pleasure and pain, both.
It's like, I think if you take Puja Swamiji's example, that is very significant. When you actually show happiness for good things, that generally all people do, but then don't show unhappiness for bad things, which others do.
Yeah.
I think that's a practical way of being a Sthita Prajna, meaning you still react, you still not react, you still go in alignment with others.
Yeah.
What Puja Swamiji used to call onlookers' problem. It's others' problem, but you just help them deal with that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Always he is always ready. He always asks, "What can I do for you?" He never say, "You please do for me." Never. No, he doesn't have any problem, so he never say, "Please do for me." In spite of even he was in ICU, was totally in pain, but he never say. He says, "What about you?" This is the Lakshana of Sthita Prajna. Still, he is always care for others.
Last point, Swamiji, I was thinking about the Chittam. You and Puja Swamiji always talk about the unconscious, how it forms. And if you look at the definition of Mano Nigraha that you showed, all the pent-up emotions is what finally, if you don't have those emotions, then you don't have the Chittam building up.
Yeah. According to Puja Swamiji, Chitta is also unconscious.
Yeah.
So shall we do Purnamada?
Yeah.
Om
Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.